Live from Southwest Florida's morning news source. This is Fox 4 News Rising.
Good morning. We are with Patrick Logue and his buddy Jake from Barkbusters. And Barkbusters works a lot with training dogs and everything, but you also are concerned about the dog's overall health. And you got some spring tips for us, because if a dog's not feeling good, chances are they're not going to listen anyway. Spring tips,
and this really applies for Florida year-round, but we like kind of doing things more on a national scale as well. But flea prevention and tick prevention, heartworms is a very large issue. And the American Heartworm Society says the easiest way to make sure your dog doesn't get heartworm is simply monthly prevention. And we just encourage everyone to go talk with their vet about heartworm prevention, because it is something that is easily prevented and it's costly to fix.
Costly to fix it, and you know, it could really mess up your dog for a while.
Well, I mean, it is a parasitic disease, so you know, it's not exactly like the movie Alien, but it's not a good thing for the dog to go through. No, not at all.
Not fun at all. And what other things do you recommend? You know, it is spring, and as we, you know, turn the new leaf on the new season for our dogs.
Right. Well, while we're spring cleaning our house, we also want to make sure that if your dog has picked up any smelly odors, we want to check and see, first of all, where are those odors coming from? Are they coming from the ears? Is it coming from the mouth? Is it coming from somewhere else?
Right.
If it's an ear situation, just by rubbing the dog's ears, it might have developed some sort of infection within the ear. If your dog has unusually bad doggy breath, it may be in a situation where it very much is possibly a dental problem or a digestive problem, or even some kidney issues as well. The best thing to do is that if you are suspicious at all, you and your vet are the best team to figure out and manage your pet's health. So always consult your vet, but do a little research on your own. Just smell your dog.
Smell your dog? You know, maybe he does need a breath mint or something. And the core of Barkbusters really is helping dogs in their own environment, their own home. You go in and you train them so that they actually listen instead of going nuts every time the mailman comes to the door.
Well, right. One of the biggest things that we deal with is, my dog just won't pay attention to me. Well, imagine if we're trying to conduct this interview and you spoke English and I only spoke Japanese.
Be a little tough.
That'd be a tough interview. So now if we try to understand that dogs only speak dog, they don't speak English. And now we're trying to factor in the fact that they perceive their world completely differently than our world. So if we're perceiving everything differently and we're talking a different language, it's going to be tough. And that's where the Barkbusters Ausication, if you will, we teach the clients how to talk dog so you can have a better relationship with your dog.
And we're going to be talking about that more in the 8 o'clock hour. In the meantime, if you have to run, barkbusters.com has lots of information for you. And if you want to get in touch with Patrick, call 877-500-2275. Patrick, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Live from Southwest Florida's morning news source. This is Fox 4 News Rising.
Thanks a lot, Sabrina. We're back with Patrick Logue from Barkbusters and his four-legged friend Jake here, who, if you want your dog to behave just like Jake in a busy television studio or in your busy house with lots of kids running around, Patrick's got all the tips.
Well, thank you. I know Jake is a model citizen now, but before Barkbusters, he was a whirling dervish. It really was quite amazing. One of the things that we want to focus on with Barkbusters is also not only the behavioral side, but also the general health of your dog as well. So Jake and I were here to talk about basically flowers and plants that might be blooming, and how we might get hay fever and things like that. Dogs can also develop that type of issues as well. And just like with people, it is an inherited trait. And seeing as we can't just ask Jake's mom or dad, because
if they had allergies.
If you have allergies, that's really, we need to be very focused on the dog. So if you find that your dog is itching a lot or licking a lot on a spot, particularly in the time when things are in bloom, it may be effectively doggy hay fever. They have a special name for it, but I can't. Anyway, it's doggy hay fever.
We'll put it in English, doggy hay fever. So do they need antibiotics? I mean, do they need Claritin?
Depending upon how long it lasts, if it is very much of a seasonal thing, the vet can prescribe basically an oral medication. If it is something that is more of a permanent condition where it extends throughout the year, And unfortunately, being in Florida, everything blooms year-round.
Right.
So again, consult with your vet about the best course of action. Now, having said that, sometimes an itching or scratching behavior can result into a behavioral issue, effectively doggy OCD. And that is something where topical ointments wouldn't necessarily change why the dog is thinking it should be itching this. So
Right.
sometimes a physical problem can manifest itself into a behavioral issue, or the other way around, just like with people.
So besides looking at your dog's overall health and everything, it's getting to be into springtime. A lot of times you're walking the dog more, you're out more. The weather is perfect right now.
Right.
Any tips for like bringing your dog out in social situations like parks and beaches and things like that?
Well, we get asked that quite a bit. I want my dog to be social, I want my dog to be friendly and things like that. And sometimes, unfortunately, the reality is sometimes some dogs just simply aren't very social. Dogs by nature are social creatures. There is a pack structure and a hierarchy with which they live by. But some dogs just like hanging out towards the owner. They don't. It's basically a comfort zone, canine
Right.
comfort zone. Now, that said, if your dog is ill-mannered when you're out and about, yes, you should consult your trainer, consult your vet about who the trainers that your vet recommends. So that way they can work on some situations, because poor behavior is poor behavior. It doesn't matter if we're just going out on a walk around the neighborhood, or if we are bringing our dog to PetSmart or down to the Coconut Point Mall to
Right.
walk around.
And Patrick has lots of tips on his website. It is barkbusters.com. And you can give him a call at 877-500-2275. All these things go into a well-behaved dog. Patrick, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much.